Hey, so today I wanted to talk to you about stative verbs, and we'll go straight to the point. So, what are stative verbs in English? It's easier to explain stative verbs when you talk about the opposition that they have with action verbs in English. So, those are two major categories: action and stative verbs. Action verbs, as you can imagine, the word action, it's about things that are like physical actions, like running, working, driving, typing, talking on the phone. Those are all physical actions, and that's why they fall into the category of action verbs in English. On the other hand, we have verbs that we call stative because they're related to a state or something like an emotion rather than physical action. And I'm going to share my screen now to show you some examples, to show you how we can group stative verbs in English by logic, and then really get to the examples with sentences and some additional explanations. So let's get to it. Now, like I said, stative verbs don't express physical action. They are typically used to describe, and I'll focus on the stars. So here you'll see 4 stars, and that's 4 categories of stative verbs grouped by logic. And then you'll see another 4 on the next slide. Let's go back. So starting with existence, the verbs be, exist, continue are very typical and very commonly used examples of stative verbs. And you haven't probably thought about them as stative, but that's what they are. And really remember, stative verbs, they cannot have an ing form. They cannot be used in continuous tenses. Only action verbs can be used in continuous tenses. So being, yes, we can sometimes say that, but typically it's a stative verb. So it only has a simple form. Exist, continue. The next category, possession, to have, to own, to possess, but also belong, lack, consist, involve, include, and contain. They are all stative and cannot have an ing form, cannot be used in any of the continuous tenses in English. So I have a computer. I don't say I'm having a computer. I own this apartment. Not I don't say I'm owning it. So it doesn't matter if we're talking about an action happening now or not. If the verb that you want or need to use is stative, you can only use a simple tense. Present simple, present perfect simple. It doesn't matter the past simple tenses, the future simple tenses, only the simple ones. Then we get to the category of appearance. How something appears, how something seems, looks, how something sounds, how something fits, like it fits like a glove. We have that expression in English. Or if something suits you, like, do you think my yellow t-shirt suits me? So I hope you do. I like it very much. So yes, those are again things that we cannot express in the ing form. Mental states, know, believe. Like maybe you're looking at this slide right now and you're thinking to yourself, well, I know that. Yes, you know it right now, but you don't say I'm knowing that. You say I know that in the simple tense. Or I hope you believe me when I'm saying those things, because you will say, I believe you. And believe is again an example of the stative verbs. I understand you. Again, a stative verb. Doubt, think, suppose, recognize. Now this list is longer. Forget, remember, imagine, like the song. Mean, what do you mean? Agree, yes, I agree with you. Or I disagree with you. Deny, promise. Right now you can make a promise and it will say, I promise. You will not say, I'm promising. So just combine them like this by category, by logic, and you will remember them more easily. We get to the second slide with the other 4 categories. So there are 8 in total. The 5th one, or the first one in this slide, is emotions and attitude. Just remember, any emotion, any kind of attitude, They're all stative verbs. Love, like, dislike, hate, adore. The list is very long here. It's even longer than what you have in the brackets. Those are just some of the very common verbs that we have. So prefer, care for, mind, want. If you say, I want some water, you say want, not I'm wanting. Need, again, I need some water, not I'm needing. Desire, wish, hope. Appreciate, I appreciate this, thank you very much. Or value. Emotions and attitudes, all stative. Then we get to senses. The senses, like I can see, like can you see what I'm showing? See, stative. Can you hear me well? Here is stative. How does that feel? Like when you touch something and you're asking about the feeling of it. How does that feel? Although after does, of course, we need to use the simple form of verb. But if the verb feel was active, an action, we would say, how is that feeling? But we don't say that. We say, how does that feel? Again, with taste and smell, it's the same. Instead of how is that tasting or how is that smelling, we ask, how does that taste? How does it smell? And then we get to the physical sensations, which are kind of similar to the senses, but you can feel them physically, like at a physical level. Hurt, ache, itch, like if it itches, it's happening now, but it itches, or oh, it hurts, or my head aches. Yes, it's now, but just aches. And measurement. Now, those are words that you don't often think about, but my phone measures, what's that? 15 centimeters. It's not just its current length, it's permanent length. It measures 15 centimeters. It weighs 200 grams. It costs, I don't know, 1,000 leva. So all of these, cost is very typical, by the way, very commonly used. People forget about that, but it's stative. And that's it. That's the whole list. That's the 8 groups created around logic, the common logic that these verbs share. And now we'll get to some examples because there are some interesting cases. A lot of those words that we just saw, they're always stative, but there are some which can be stative or active depending on the context, on what they mean. So look at the first example. The salad tastes nice. You're eating the salad, you make a comment, the salad tastes nice. You're talking about the feature of the salad. It's not a changing thing. It's a state, it's a feature. So that's its taste. The salad tastes nice. The one below that, right here, this soup smells nice. Again, the same logic. Tastes nice, it smells nice. And then we'll go to the other side of the table on the right. You can use taste as an action as well when it's not about the feature of the salad, it's about the action you can do. Tasting, like wine tasting. I've been tasting wines for an hour. So it's an action. I've been actively doing it. Yana is smelling the rose. So she goes to the rose to smell it. It's a physical action. And then the last line with see, I can see somebody in the house. I can look through the window, I can see somebody inside. But see, when it means to date somebody, to be going out with somebody, it's an action. And in this case, you can do the ing form of it. Are you seeing anyone? That means, are you dating anyone? Are you going out with anyone? So remember that very important difference in C. And then we get to another slide with 3 more examples of something like this. Have is very interesting because when it needs to own or possess something, it's stative. I have a car, I have a phone, I have an apartment, but as an active verb, when it means to have lunch or dinner, it's an action. I'm having lunch right now. So only when it means own or possess, have is stative. When it's active, having lunch, or for example, it means if it means to enjoy your time, to have a good time. I'm really enjoying my time right now. I'm really having a good time. Again, it's an action. We go one line below. I weigh 50 kilograms. That's definitely not me. I don't weigh 50 kilograms. But this, when it's about weight, that's a measurement and it's stative. But if you are weighing somebody, if you're checking somebody's weight, then that's an action. I was weighing myself when she came in. And then the line below that, think. Think is interesting because it's a very common verb. And when it means to have an opinion, that's a stative verb. I think the new car is awesome. But when by think you mean the process of thinking, then it's an action. What are you thinking about? It's the action. My mind is working. So those were the examples of, let's call them the exceptions, or more like, those are not even exceptions. Those are verbs that mean two very different things. And in one of their meanings, they're stative. In the other one, they are active. So I will stop my lesson here. Remember about stative verbs. They're very important because they very often determine what tense you can use, because sometimes you want to express an action and it's an ongoing action, maybe happening right now, maybe it has been happening for a while, maybe it was happening yesterday, or it will be happening tomorrow. But if the verb is stative, you cannot use the continuous tense. So from the continuous tense, you need to switch to the closest possible simple tense. And the switch is like this. From the present continuous, you switch to the present simple when you have a stative verb. From the past continuous, you switch to the past simple with a stative verb. From the future simple, you switch to the future continuous. The same happens with the perfect tenses. From any perfect continuous tense, if you have a stative verb, you need to switch to the perfect simple tense. And when I say switch, that switch is happening in your head, basically, because you're thinking about something and the logic of this action fits the description, like the definition of a continuous tense, but you want to, or you need to use a stative verb, so you just need to switch to the corresponding simple tense. That was it for today. Again, I hope that lesson was useful. Check the presentation for reference, rewatch that video if you need to, and I'll catch you again in the next one. So bye.